But what really matters is that YouTube has given me a business model. It basically runs in my sleep. It's like a silent salesperson for me, putting bookings on my calendar.
I want every VRA student and every Think Media podcast listener to listen to Jen and learn from Jen, because the creator needs to learn from the business owner to think different. Your channel's not even monetized, but you've got a six-figure business. So how can you get more leads, clients, and sales for your business using YouTube? Why should business owners pay attention to YouTube? And do you ultimately need millions of subscribers to actually grow your business and make more income and more impact? This is going to be a powerful episode because our guest today is Jen DeVore Richter, who is a former marketing executive for the NASA at the Kennedy Space Center turned entrepreneur. She owns a magazine publishing company and serves as a spokesperson on YouTube's #1 channel for magazine publishing. A little bit later in the episode, she's also going to be breaking down how we can outsource our marketing. She's got a brand new book out and how to reach more people, scale faster, and work less. She'll be talking about some red flags to watch out for when signing up for outsourced marketing services and really her 6 steps. So this is going to be a power-packed episode of the Think Media podcast. So buckle your seatbelt, because as a result of listening to this episode, I really believe you'll be able to grow your business further, faster, and make a greater difference with your products and services. But Jen, welcome to the Think Media podcast.
Sean, thanks for having me. I'm so grateful to you and to the Think Media team for everything that I've learned in Video Ranking Academy that has brought me to this moment.
Yeah, and we're inspired by all the action you've taken and everything you're doing. And I want to kind of dive in first. Let's just talk about YouTube high level. You're a professional. You've done a lot of cool things in your career, and you're not a YouTuber. You probably wouldn't call yourself that.
Mm-mm.
So you're approaching YouTube with this entrepreneur mindset. Why YouTube? Why'd you want to start a YouTube channel in the first place and pick this platform?
I started on YouTube in 2020 when lockdowns hit, because prior to that, I was generating most of my business as a professional speaker, speaking on other people's stages at conferences. And then when lockdowns hit and live events got canceled, I needed to scramble, truthfully, and figure out a different way to get in front of people. I like to sell one-to-many type of marketing. I'm not like much of a networker. I don't like cold calling. And one of my friends, one of my speaker friends, Roger Wakefield, who I'm sure you know, is a famous plumber on YouTube. And we were talking one day, and he and I had met through the speaking circuit, and he said, "Why don't you just go to YouTube, Jen? You need to be there." I had tried YouTube in the past, but I didn't know what I was doing. I was using it basically as a portfolio for my speaking demos. And so I listened to Roger, I joined your program, and that's how I got into YouTube, was basically out of necessity, needing to get in front of a lot of people and needing to share my message so that I could grow my business.
And tell us a little bit about your business. This was your magazine publishing company, correct?
Yeah, so I have 2 businesses. I work as what I call outsourced CMO, Chief Marketing Officer. I have a handful of clients on a retainer with me, and I manage their online marketing for them. And then I also have a magazine publishing company that came about because of YouTube. When I first started my channel, I was doing a mix of videos, probably had like 3 or 4 topics. A lot of them were about sales funnels, getting traffic, landing pages, email marketing. And then I had also developed my own magazine basically as a marketing tool for myself as a speaker. So I was kind of like, my content was like 3 or 4 topics, but the magazine videos started to pop off. And then, as you say in VRA, it's like, once you see what's working, double down. And so that's what I did. And I just started doubling down on the magazine publishing videos, because there was no competition really to speak of. There was some older videos or some videos that weren't really about how to use a magazine to like grow your business. And so I have the marketing company where I work as a CMO for a handful of clients, and then coaching on the side too. And then the magazine publishing company is a separate business now, thanks to YouTube, with its own designated business manager, its own tech and design team, and everything.
Wow. And I'll never forget a story, because you emailed us and you just said, "Hey,
Yeah.
I just had my first ever $11,000 week. So $11,000 of business revenue in
Hmm.
a 1 week period that I believe was for the magazine company, correct?
Correct. Yep.
Because you had YouTube videos out there with some call to action that then was able to lead to that business that came in. But I've taken a screenshot and told this story many times because if I remember, you had exactly 546 subscribers at the time of, or right around there when you emailed us. And so it's one of my favorite stories. And I did not even know that actually YouTube led even to the formulation of a new product and business. I think that's an interesting opportunity for our listeners. You know, market your existing products and services, but what maybe new are people demanding and or asking for that you could potentially create. So it's a $11,000 in business, a big number for such a small subscriber count, and so it's very inspiring. Tell us a little bit about that story. And was it one breakout video? Was it a couple of videos? What happened when that business came in?
Basically, one day I logged into my vidIQ account and saw that some of these magazine videos were ranking number one in the search terms. And so even though the channel was small, less than 1,000 subscribers, the videos were ranking, and they're still there. They were ranking top in YouTube search for magazine self-publishing in particular. And so I knew I was onto something with the traffic, because traffic is a major problem for a lot of entrepreneurs, probably everybody. And so I saw the potential with the traffic. But I'm also a Russell Brunson, Dan Kennedy fan, and I've been studying their work and following their model for a long time. And I realized that having the traffic wasn't going to convert into leads. So how would I harness the traffic and then convert it into actual business? So I built a funnel, a super simple Russell Brunson perfect webinar funnel, and I started linking the funnel in the description of all of the videos and then putting it in the link of the banner. And then I created a promo video for the webinar on the channel. And that was when it really started taking off. And I coined the term magazine funnel. And then Russell even had me on the ClickFunnels radio podcast because of the magazine funnel. So I got more traffic and more attention from that. Dan Kennedy had me on the Magnetic Marketing podcast. And it really just took off because I wasn't looking at it just as YouTube videos. I was looking at it as traffic to a funnel. And so I decided and scrambled and created this magazine. I called the concept the magazine funnel, which is, it's not just a magazine that we create for clients, but it's a magazine and a sales funnel combined. But me having my own webinar funnel to promote the concept of a magazine funnel. And then it's a 2-page webinar that moves people to a thank you page that has my calendar on it. And people sign up for a call. I talk to them and land business that way. And so the whole entire business model started from that.
Wow. And so even one of the things that was interesting too is you had already made videos with which you had not actually given a call to action in, correct? But as you
Yeah, it was
saw,
like go to my website, kind of, like just
sure.
generic. Yeah.
But kind of a nugget there is actually perhaps looking at videos in your past library. If you're established at any level, if you've been posting videos, you're listening to this, can you update your pinned comment? Can you update links in your description? We would tell you to make sure that it's above the fold, meaning it's the top 3 lines, because if someone's interested in the topic, and they check the description and that link, they see it's clickable, then you could send them into anywhere you want, updating your cover image with a URL so that they could jump into this, and then ultimately creating a sales process, because you move the conversation off of YouTube to a webinar, to a web class, to a phone call, so that they could talk to you and to land business. And so ultimately leading to leads and then clients and sales. And so that's so powerful and so inspiring. Now, have you continued to double down since then, your YouTube strategy? Are you using your channel to promote your 3 businesses, or and kind of talking about all things there? What's kind of happened since then on your YouTube channel? What have you been learning?
I think I got this advice from your team also, where I doubled down and I just stayed the course. So this is over 3 years now, and I've published a weekly video for over 3 years. I maybe have missed 3 weeks out of those 3 years. I've been super consistent, and I have tons of videos on magazine publishing. And since I'm still secure in the top rank for magazine publishing on search engine, now I've started to broaden it back up a little bit, especially because I have the new book, broaden it back out a little bit, still related to marketing and media, and start to integrate more content related to like marketing productivity, because it's all related. All my magazine publishers, all my magazine publishing clients still need marketing. They still need to know. So that's how it's been helping me with those two divisions of the business. Is magazine publishing, I still keep going, but I'm starting to slowly broaden the channel back up a little bit and create that more like marketing productivity content, while at the same time not letting off of magazines, but starting to add another topic, even and making sure that they're still related. So yes, so now they're starting to, because I have more subscribers now, I have 2,590 subscribers now, it's starting to work for both. And then also I have to say, just having the content for the marketing side of the business and me just sharing it with my email list. I send an email out to my list every week that has the video of the week in it. And that has helped me drive business for the marketing side of my company, and then also social media promotion. And now just people kind of know that I've got this YouTube channel, and they're just starting to pay attention and tune in. And so, yeah, both of the divisions of the business are growing because of that.
That's amazing. Now, how are you making videos? For many business owners, the tech hurdle, the production workflow, and then all the way down to making great thumbnails. And your thumbnails are especially have evolved and they're really good. So all these different YouTube best practices. For you, what are some of the tips in terms of your workflow and how you create content and edit? Have you delegated some of that? Do you keep it simple and not even edit? Like, what has been your workflow? Maybe how's it evolved and what is it now?
I first started on my iPhone. I basically just had a desk with a chair, a ring light, and an iPhone on a selfie stand. And I started making videos, and I didn't even have a professional microphone, nothing. I will say that I do have a little bit of an unfair advantage in that I have worked in television. I've studied broadcasting in high school. I've worked at 2 TV stations. And so I kind of know how video works just from a production standpoint. I also was a certified professional photographer for 7 years. So I know what, great composition and lighting looks like. I think that does give me a little bit of an unfair advantage. But really, I first started just on my iPhone with little to no editing. But because the goal is to get 1% better with every video, I've definitely evolved over the last 3 years. And so my set continues to evolve, my lighting. I've upgraded to a Canon DSLR camera. That's just because that's what I learned. I learned how to shoot photography on Canon cameras, so I'm just kind of used to them. So I now shoot on a Canon camera. I do edit them a lot now. They're probably not as edited as some YouTubers, but I definitely am putting a lot into the editing. And I have been editing my own videos for the last while. But I do have a team now. I do have a video editor that can pitch in for me when I'm going to go on vacation or I'm too busy or just don't want to do it. I just still haven't 100% given complete control over my own YouTube videos, but I do have my editor take the short videos out. So like the less than 60-second verticals out. And he, I give him the timestamp and he edits those out and creates the repurposed content for me as well. But then I also have my team. I have a specific thumbnail designer who that's all he does is all my thumbnails now. I used to do them myself in Canva and I realized, oh my gosh, I don't know what I'm doing. That is like the first thing you should outsource is your thumbnails. So I have a dedicated thumbnail designer. I have my video editor who can repurpose content and then step in for me when I'm not, too busy or on vacation or whatever, and I don't want to edit my videos. And then I do have a project manager and graphic designers and email marketers and all this, like all these other people that help with the marketing of the content as well.
Your story is inspiring because I love that you're mentioning a key word, and that's 3 years. And so there's been an evolution, 1% better with every upload, and the adding on now of systems and team and outsourcing to support your overall workflow and your overall business. And you're an expert at that and the author of Outsource Your Marketing. And so in just a second, I want to dive into your new book and these 6 principles and some of the things we can learn, because especially as business owners and in our community, we have business-minded content creators as well. Man, we have to delegate. I've heard it said, delegate or die. At some point, you can't carry it all yourself. And so I'm excited to learn this from you. But I want to encourage everybody listening a couple things. One, Jen has been talking about Video Rake It Academy. That was the program she's a part of. And today's episode is brought to you by VRApodcast.com. If you actually want to look at just a special offer on Video Rake It Academy just for Think Media podcast listeners, you could always go to VRApodcast.com. That'll be in the show notes. I also want to point you to Jen's new book, which is called Outsource Your Marketing, and that we're about to talk about that. But she's also got some free resources that you could check out. And the book is out on Amazon as well. And you can check out her channel. And before we get into the outsource stuff, one of your videos piqued my curiosity. AI headshots for $10. And you compared SuitUp versus TryItOn. Seemed very cool. I was wondering, is SuitUp a way to like try on clothes you don't even own? What are these AI headshot softwares? And I think for people that are maybe wanting to have you're a pro photographer, you've got an incredible YouTube avatar, a nice headshot, and you're doing the magazine thing. So you've got all of that understanding. But I think a lot of people could improve their avatar, their social media headshot, and they might have low tech equipment. Are these cool softwares? What do they do?
Yeah, they're awesome. I've just really been experimenting with the artificial intelligence software programs. In particular, the things that can help us be better creators and better marketers. And yeah, SuitUp is a really cool AI website that allows you to upload like 10 or 15 of your selfies. You upload it into their website, and then it will generate for you professional headshots that look like you have gone through a bunch of locations with your photographer, put on a lot of different outfits for your photo shoot, and just really cool. And I just really did those videos as just some fun content for the YouTube channel. They really took off. They've got some awesome views on those pieces of content as well. But I really just did them just because I was curious what was going on with AI from a marketing perspective, and I was like, well, if I'm going to go try this out, I might as well make a video out of it. But yeah, they're great tools for content creators.
So the apps are SuitUp and then TryItOn. And it is funny because I mean, you're telling me in the thumbnail, there's a picture of you with a leather jacket. Do you not own that leather jacket?
No, I did not have those outfits on at all. That was what was so cool about it.
Man, so definitely we'll link up some of these in the show notes as well. Before we dive into the outsource stuff, on just the list or the topic of AI software, is there any AI you're using for anything at all that you love right now, and how are you using it?
I'm using some of the AI in Canva, like the built-in software that's inside Canva. Also, my friend Austin Armstrong created a software program, an artificial intelligence program called Syllaby, which is really cool. Really great for content creators if you're struggling with writing your video scripts and then turning your video scripts into blog posts. Syllaby is awesome. And then I'm just still using ChatGPT. But I'm not really using AI as much right now to come up with my video ideas. I do use the AI tools inside of vidIQ to research and kind of just check my hunch on if my video topics are going to be great. And I did use the AI inside of vidIQ to do a channel review, which was really helpful. I think that would be a task that should be put on a content creator's calendar on a regular basis, is to do a channel review with vidIQ.
That is a great point. And that you're referencing their AI coach, which is not only recently launched, but just continues to evolve. It's a very powerful tool. And vidIQ is not officially sponsoring this video, but they are one of our sponsors that we consistently work with. And we just love them. We actually recently was talking to Rob Sandy, who's the founder of vidIQ at VidCon, and just so many cool things on the horizon. So great tools. And this is one of those episodes to definitely check out the show notes and some of the resources, because we're covering a lot of territory here. But I cannot wait to dive into outsource your marketing. I know that we have business owners listening to this episode, and they're maybe already in the mindset of building a team. Maybe from day one, they started to think about needing to delegate, and kind of came into it from another approach. But then, especially on our content creator side, and I know I can empathize with this because I'm kind of like an accidental entrepreneur. I started making videos in my bedroom and then was like, man, how do I turn this into a company? And then as you're also bootstrapping your way up, finances can be tough. Like, you're making some money, but is it, you're like, I can't hire somebody for $65,000 a year, healthcare and all this, or whatever. So when it comes to outsourcing, there's so many nuggets here that we can learn. Give us a little overview of your book, though, and maybe how your experience in outsourcing and why it matters, why this is a big deal, and why this book.
Yeah. So, gosh, I feel like this book is like a 20-year project that's just it's like a culmination of all of my experience. When I worked at NASA, I managed all of their paid advertising programs, television, radio, billboards, print collateral, everything. And so my responsibility was to manage the agency. So that gave me the inside scoop on how agencies work. And then when I decided to become an entrepreneur, the first company that I created was a photography studio, had that for 7 years. But then the second business after that was an agency. I started my own agency with 2 business partners, which still exists to this day. It's very successful. And I had 2 business partners, big fancy office, couple of employees on staff. And one of the mistakes that I made for my own self, for my own life with that business model was, kind of like being tied to the office, being tied to the employees, being tied to the business partners. And I really wanted more of a lifestyle type of business where I could work from anywhere and not necessarily be responsible for full-time employees on the payroll. And so now with this business model that I have now over the last 4 years, I have just started building a team of everyone from freelancers to virtual assistants, even coaches I consider part of my team, the people that I trust and hire to share knowledge with me. And my project manager is a part of my team. And I started to realize that all of this experience of working with agencies, having employees, finding and keeping virtual assistants, project managers that want to stay with me for the long term. My project manager, I've known her for years, and my virtual assistants and my tech team and my freelancers have all been with me since the beginning, like 3 years. And so and when I started working with my clients, I started realizing that one of the major problems they were having was that they didn't really know what to look for when they were recruiting people onto their outsourced team. And also they didn't know how to delegate to them. They didn't know how to communicate their expectations. They didn't know how to share what they were trying to do and what they like and what they don't like. And so a lot of my clients, this is why I work as an outsourced CMO, is because a lot of my clients, when they were coming to me, they were sharing this pain. They were like, oh, I hired this social media manager and she doesn't know what she's doing. And I'm like, well, what did you tell her? What's the input? How are you communicating what you want from them, what your style is, what your goals are? Because a lot of times the breakdown in delegation is the wrong communication, not being able to speak the language of freelancers. And so this book basically is I had to think about if I was teaching what I do and how I hire awesome people to clients or prospects or, even people that don't even want to hire me, but just, I want to put this knowledge into a book. What would the process be in a way that I could teach it? And so that's That's what the book is about.
I want to invite you guys to our YouTube 1K challenge. You can join this challenge for free as we show you how to grow your first 1,000 subscribers and make your first $1,000 on YouTube. We've had countless people join us during this 1K challenge who are now at 1,000 subscribers and past 1,000 subscribers making money on YouTube. And you could be the next person. If you just go to tube1kchallenge.com, you can sign up for the very next challenge, and we can't wait to see you guys there.
That's so cool. And it's specifically called Outsource Your Marketing, with that specialty of focusing on getting your marketing going. It's for founders and CEOs that want to scale their business, but don't want to hire an over bloated ad agency. So we've had some of our own experience with that, and ad agency fees going up and up and up and up. And so also business owners who want marketing services but want to save time and money, or entrepreneurs that want to make better decisions when hiring marketing freelancers. So much is in here. And of course, people can check out the book. And I think this is a must pick up, because this is one of those. An advantage is that just many get stuck here. It's a hard road. It's a hard skill to learn. And so investing in learning. But before we get into these 6 things, you built a framework. There's some red flags to watch out for when it comes to like maybe signing up for marketing services in general. What are maybe some of the mistakes, red flags, business owners that have, hired an agency, they're disappointed, they're not looking under the hood? I don't know. You tell me, what are some red flags to help out some of the business owners listening?
The biggest one I see is that the agencies this is a secret, agencies want you to stick with them. And they will create your marketing on platforms that only they have access to, or you're leasing a spot on their account, or you're even leasing your website from them. And so as soon as you decide this agency isn't really working for me anymore, and you might want to go your separate ways, when you go to end your contract, you lose everything. It's not being built for you as work for hire. And so you really want to look at your contracts and make sure that everything that the agency is going to do for you is for you on your platforms. In addition to that, make sure that you have administrative control of your accounts. This is shocking to me, how many business owners have no idea how to even log into their website, or what the administrative password is to their YouTube channel or their email list. And that's a big red flag if you're hiring a company and they don't want to release those things to you, or they want to build everything on a platform and just like license a seat to you. You don't want to do that.
Man, such good advice. And you've got a 6-part framework. This is in the book. So I figured maybe we just do a 30,000 foot level on here. Yeah. Strategy, systems, team, tactics, results, and mindset. What do we start on here? Where does it start with the mindset?
Yeah, it does. And I put the system in a circle because it's never ending. It's like, it depends on where you're at, right? So,
okay.
But let's pick mindset as chapter 1. First, you have to have the mindset that marketing is important. And I say, take it to the point that you see yourself as not just a provider of your services, but you see yourself as a marketer of your services. I consider myself, I put it on my profiles, I put it in my bio, I'm the spokesperson of my company. That's how important it is. That has been the key to the fast success, especially of the magazine publishing company, which basically happened overnight. That was the mindset that I had, was I'm not going to get stuck working in the business, and I'm not going to relegate marketing to a task that just has to be done. It needs to be the top priority. So that's first off, mindset.
I love that. I heard a friend of mine say it this way. They said that, business owners, they fall in love with their product and their service, as they should. And they want customers and prospects to get their product and their service. And that's all they want to do, though. And one of the biggest mistakes that business owners make is they don't date Sam. And for those that are, listening to this, they might be like, date Sam? Like I'm already dating somebody. I'm not going to date somebody else. Or they're like, I'm married. That sounds sketchy. I don't know. But I don't care if you've been married 17 years like me, you still need to, you actually don't need to just date Sam. You need to marry Sam. Who's Sam? Sam is sales and marketing. And 2 things that we a lot of times, we don't love sales and marketing. We love the main thing we do and how we help people. We don't love sales and marketing. We love the way we serve people and we want them to get our products and services. But It is your ethical responsibility. It is your duty. It is your primary responsibility as the founder to actually be obsessed with ethical sales and marketing so that you could get your products and services into the hands of as many people as possible. And your company is a sales and marketing company of your services. I'm just echoing you now. Your job is to make sure that Sam is at the center of course, also the thing you do and being obsessed with the marketing and the sales of the thing you do. And it's a big mindset shift. And so, I know we have many audio listeners and you can't comment. It means the world to us, though, if you can rate and review the podcast wherever you listen. But if you're on YouTube, let me know. Are you committed to starting to date Sam or marry Sam? And tell us in the comments. And leaning into sales and marketing with that mindset. Well, what's next on the framework?
The mistake that a lot of business owners make when they start to outsource their marketing is they jump on tactics. Well, oh, now I need to be on Instagram, or now I need to be making TikTok videos. And they're not thinking through the full strategy of where is it going to lead? Like I shared earlier, YouTube to me is the traffic that leads to the funnel. It's a strategy. And I'm thinking, how am I going to take this traffic off of YouTube, move them onto the next step in the buyer's journey with me? And then how am I going to sell? I sell on Zoom. And then what are my offers? That whole entire strategy just for the YouTube channel was thought through before I started building out the system or learning about systems and building the team.
So brilliant. And man, I think it was Sun Tzu who said that tactics without strategy is the noise before defeat. That if all we're doing is out there with some tactical thing, even if you got a viral TikTok, so what? Even if you got a viral YouTube short, so what if it's not connected to a bigger strategy? Even if you made the best thumbnail in the world. And we get obsessed with the tactics, though. We want the little gimmicks, and it makes me think that that's sometimes even ad agencies, this could be a red flag of them as well, or marketing agencies, because they're feeding you information, and they might look at what we just accomplished, look at all these impressions or all this reach, but the question is unto what? And are they also, if they're not informing your strategy, probably why you need to take your personal power back and follow Jen and follow what she's prescribing here, but to make sure that your strategy is rock solid. Because just like, oh, we grew your Instagram account, who cares? Like, oh, we got a few more, even YouTube views, even YouTube subscribers. But how does it connect to the overall strategy? Man, that's a chapter to dive deeper in. But what's next?
Systems for YouTubers or content creators, video content creators. What systems do you need? So do you need vidIQ? Do you need to learn a system? That's what brought me to VRA was I knew that YouTube was going to be my new strategy versus speaking on stages. So what is the system of YouTube? What do I need to know? Before I start running and spending a bunch of money on, outsourcing or freelancers or people to upload my videos to my channel, I need to understand how the system works so that I can hire the right people and build the team correctly to begin with.
Okay. And then number 4 is team. So to break that down.
Mm-hmm. So team comes before tactics, in my opinion, because as a business owner, we are busy and we don't necessarily need to understand every little thing about every little tactic. That's why you need to rely on the right team members. So for example, my YouTube thumbnail designer, I just knew that he knew what he was doing. So I put him on my team, let him run. Okay. Get out of their way. Trust them that they understand the system. They understand your strategy. They understand what you're trying to do, and then just get out of their way and let the team implement your tactics for you, which is the next step.
I know it's a range of what it could cost, but I know people are curious if they were outsourcing a thumbnail. Maybe you've worked with other people. Mm-hmm. What does a good thumbnail cost?
Well, I can only tell you what I pay for thumbnails with my designer, because he's been with me for, since the beginning. Well, not the beginning of the channel, but as soon as I realized I needed one. Yes. And I pay less than $15 per thumbnail.
I think that's inspiring. And if you're super strapped, then Canva and hustle.
Right.
But what you just said there, I want you to dive a little bit deeper in this, because business owners, founders, entrepreneurs founder content creators that have got these channels? Should they assess what their time is worth and audit what their time is worth? And how good of a thumbnail could they even make, and how long will it take them? To talk a little bit about that, because by outsourcing that one thing, what have you regained maybe in terms of even mindset and focus and speed? $15, one thumbnail.
Yeah. And I order in a batch because I plan out my videos in a batch. And so I order like 4 to 8 at a time, depending on how far out I've planned my videos. So he actually even gives me even a really great deal from there because I order so many from him. And then he gives me free thumbnails because I refer clients to him and refer business to him. So you just have to find the right person for you.
Wow.
But it definitely is a help. I kind of, because I have a visual background, I'm an artist too in my hobby time. And I could look at a thumbnail and go, I understand why that's good. And I can look at a thumbnail and understand why it's not going to work. And so at the beginning of the channel, before I had built out my system and my team and everything, was spending a bunch of time in Canva, trying to knock out thumbnails, and they were okay. Like even some of my top performing videos have Canva thumbnails that I DIY'd, and they do awesome. They did well. But yeah, you're right. It was like, I just had to look at what I want my hourly rate to be and look at if I could just pay a professional to do this because they can do it faster and they can do it better. That is a better use of my time and helps me maintain my hourly rate.
So strong. And I've learned personally too, delegation's been hard for me because similar to you, I have a background of photography. So I could do my own photography, Photoshop. So I could design my own thumbnails and did for many years. Video editing, all of like the core competencies around YouTube, I skilled up little by little and was at the center of all of that as a solo YouTube creator, talking about video affiliate marketing and all of that. But so it also made it difficult to hand things off. I had to also let go of some perfection. I had to realize that some of my quote unquote perfection too was still subjective. Like just because I wanted a thumbnail to be a certain way doesn't necessarily mean it would perform better. But probably the biggest light bulb moment for me was also just decision fatigue. It's one thing like, could I possibly get this task done if I just hustle extra today and save $15 or whatever? But what does it cost in terms of the mental energy, the start stop of coming up with, of getting into something new, and then I still do design thumbnails. I actually use Canva, even though I'm a Photoshop person. We have someone full time on the team that's a graphic designer now. And I do it, one, because I always want to remind our community that like everything is figure outable and you can do this and you can hustle and open Canva and figure every single thing out, no matter who you are, and you could get it done. And you could put constraints on. Like if I want to go live, I'll use StreamYard and maybe get a thumbnail done 10 minutes before it started, just something basic, good enough, and hit record. You got to just press record. But what I've realized is once I start workshopping it, I look at it a little and I go, oh, I could probably change it a little more. Oh, let me try this one. I export it. Maybe I could tweak it a little bit more. And next thing you know, an hour's passed, an hour and a half has passed. And as soon as and that's all energy, it's decision fatigue, it's different things. That's going to go from something else, which could be that next level of your business, thinking about the next strategy, thinking about the next innovative campaign, thinking about the next thing that could go produce money. And your hourly rate is much more than $15. I would say everybody listening to this needs to have the mindset that their hourly rate is exponentially more than that.
Oh, yeah.
And early on, especially, scared money don't make money. Sometimes it's about biting the bullet, getting uncomfortable, letting go of perfectionism, and delegating something like that. And I would argue there's an exponential return on energy, and there's an exponential return on mental focus or freeing up some of your brain space. So it's not even a $15 versus $100 an hour or whatever. It's a whole different dimension of you as an entrepreneur that can now take new territory and ground and seize new opportunities once you start delegating some of these things. Before we go to the next one, any thoughts on this team conversation?
I would also say that even thumbnails for me are a system, right? So one of the hacks that I figured out was, and this might especially resonate with our women in the audience, where you feel like you need to do your hair and your makeup and have a different outfit on every thumbnail. I don't care about that. I literally have a closet in my office that has a red shirt, a green shirt, a purple shirt, a black shirt, and a blue shirt. And I one day got my ring light set up, did my hair, did my makeup, and knocked out a bunch of headshots for the thumbnails with a variety of different expressions and different emotions, upload them to my Google Drive folder, and then I share that with my thumbnail designer. So even for thumbnails, I'm not like taking a photo every time I need a new thumbnail. And like you said about letting go of perfection, I don't care if the thumbnail has a blue shirt and on the video I have a green shirt. I don't really care about that. I'm just get it done, get it outsourced, give my designer what he needs in order to get the thumbnails done. But that has become a little system that might be helpful. It's just knock out the headshots for your thumbnails with a variety of different expressions, different color shirts and stuff, so that when you do outsource it to your thumbnail designer, you're ready to go and you've got some assets and a little system set up that makes it easy.
So that was mindset, strategy, systems, team. Next is tactics, tools, and time. Break it down.
Well, that's what we were just kind of talking about. Is like, so if you're, you don't have to necessarily know every little tactic that goes into like creating great thumbnails or every little tactic about how to optimize your videos using vidIQ. If you've got the team members that know what they're doing, just trust them, but make sure that you're setting up that you're providing your team members what they need in order to get the tactical stuff done, basically. And what is the best use of your time? And what tools do you need? So do you need Canva? Or if you're another thing that not necessarily even related to YouTube thumbnails, but just something to think about if you're outsourcing your marketing is what tools do you want to use? An example would be another graphic design problem that you might have. But let's say you're creating a PDF lead magnet for your website, for your sales funnel, for your landing page. And you're going to outsource that project to a graphic designer. And that graphic designer works in InDesign, but you don't know InDesign. You work in Canva. Making sure that if Canva is the tool that you want to use, or maybe you're even you hire a graphic designer to create a thumbnail template for you in your Canva account. Be thinking about what tools are you using for your tactical execution and making sure that your team members are using the tools that you're using.
Ooh, a very practical tip there. And such one mistake I made early on was my approach to editing, as much of it as a skill that it was I never did a very good job of creating templates. For example, just like saving a project that has like the theme music, the intro, the this, the that. I'd always rebuild it every single time. Mm. Your idea of having like a designer give you a template that you could plug into Canva that you could save time. Yep. That's a tactic. Those are tools that could just shave so much. Those little things that compound, obviously, especially as you multiply it by weeks, months, and even years in your business. Very good. Okay. And then finally, results.
Measure what matters. My channel is small, but I have a 6-figure business off of a small channel because my channel's not even monetized yet, Sean. YouTube is crushing me on the 4,000 hours, like the 4,000, I'm like 2,650 or something like that. My channel isn't monetized by YouTube. That is not the result that matters to me. What matters to me is the YouTube channel, are the videos, putting people on my calendar that I can talk to. That is the number one thing that I measure, because that is I know that if people are on my calendar, I'm going to get business. So making sure that you're measuring what matters and not getting lost and distracted by maybe some of the vanity metrics that make you feel bad about, I see this all the time in the VRA group. People are talking about how their videos aren't blowing up, or they're not going viral, or they're not monetized yet. I'm like, I don't even care about that stuff. I mean, I would love it if they would monetize my channel, if I could get my hours up really fast. But what really matters is that YouTube has given me a business model that it basically runs in my sleep. It's like a silent salesperson for me, putting bookings on my calendar, people to talk to from around the world who are appreciative of my content. Because I speak with a lot of them by Zoom. They love my content. They appreciate what I do, and they become happy clients of mine. To me, that's what matters.
That right there, you make me want to jump out of my chair, run around the room, and shout because, and I think what's interesting about the VRA community is we really do have two groups of entrepreneurs and creators in there, and it's exactly that. We have those that are coming in with the creator mindset, and I want every VRA student, every Think Media podcast listener to listen to Jen and learn from Jen because the creator needs to learn from the business owner to think different. Your channel's not even monetized, but you've got a six-figure business. That right there is so shocking and almost countercultural in the creator economy because what people focus on is YouTube ad revenue, trying to get as many views as possible, trying to go viral. And oftentimes, even consistent virality is not sustainable, but also it's not even close to as profitable because CPMs, RPMs go up and down. It's hard. It's also it could be very much the path to burnout. Meanwhile, you're on a different path. And of course, what the entrepreneur business owner can learn from is the creators who learn how to get views, because then you start. The funny thing, I think it was, I heard Alex Hormozi talk about this. He was on Graham Stephan's show because Graham Stephan has gigantic numbers. And at the time, I think had less of a sophisticated business. He's tapped into a little bit of courses. He had a coffee for a while. I'm not sure. He's investing now. He's doing all kinds of things to scale. But I think at the time it was kind of just like brand deals, ad revenue. And he said something because Alex was like the $100 million guy or whatever, with all these, his approach to business and some of the stuff he had done is Graham was like, man, if I had your business acumen, I'd probably be, a lot wealthier than I am right now. And then Alex said, if I had your audience, Graham, I'd be a billionaire already. And because the business owner is thinking about building that actual back end, the funnel, what are the products, what are the services? So anyways, kind of a sidetrack there, but that is our ultimate dream inside of our VRA community is we're sort of living in this creatorpreneur environment where business owners are becoming content creators and content creators are becoming business owners. And that's why I'm so passionate about this episode. Ultimately, Jen, we're going to link up your stuff. This has been incredibly helpful, but I want to really encourage Think Media podcast listeners to pick up a copy of Outsource Your Marketing. And maybe you're already in, then that's you are already in. But we're talking $13 what I see it for on Amazon right now. The ebook's like $7.
It's 100 pages. It's easy to read. A lot of actionable stuff in there.
And I love that. But I know that there's maybe some listening that this particular topic doesn't get you excited. If there's other things that you would maybe gravitate towards. Maybe it's kind of like eating your vegetables. If you don't love vegetables, I happen to love vegetables. So there's certain things when it's like maybe delegate, it maybe makes you a little uncomfortable too. It's kind of like, oh, it kind of sounds hard and might risk, hiring somebody. And even though Jen's going to tell me how to do it, maybe just keep doing it the way I'm doing it. Listen, friends, what you're doing is not sustainable. I see on Jen's website, it says delegate to accelerate. We are passionate about you not burning out. And even if you feel great right now, you need to make decisions today to set you up for tomorrow, the next year, and 5 years from now. I'm so grateful for decisions I made years ago in terms of delegation, outsourcing, team, and now with a 2.5-year-old and a 9-month-old, it is delegate or die. I would probably be dead trying to run a business, trying to run the YouTube channel, trying to handle the kid life and the business life. Sonia and I, my wife, she's a CFO. So it's pretty heavy load to run a multi-million-dollar company. The books have got more complex. The team has got more complex. But we had to continue to skill up, and there's certain books or certain topics where it's like, oh yeah, give me that. And I sometimes avoid the thing that I need and not just chasing the thing that I want. Friend, you need to outsource your marketing and begin, even taking baby steps. And Jen's giving you the roadmap. So you can check out the show notes. Book is down there. And then there's also, you have like a free resource that is just kind of supports the book. We'll make sure to put a link in the show notes, but what is that? It's like a book resource that adds some additional content?
Yeah, it's a couple different things. There's some checklists, some guides, and then some bonus videos that are not on my YouTube channel that dive deeper into how to delegate. And actually, there's a checklist on that will help you figure out what to delegate based on your zone of genius.
Beautiful. So we'll make sure that you can see that whether you're on audio or whether you're watching on YouTube or anywhere else. You could check out those free resources from Jen as well, the book on Amazon. And if you want to check out Video Rake It Academy, because you're especially a business owner or entrepreneur, and you know you need to get serious about YouTube, you could go to vrapodcast.com. And that's all down there as well. Jen, as we land the plane, give me one final word of encouragement from a seasoned entrepreneur like yourself. You've done many things, including work at NASA, but you've run a photo studio. You have multiple businesses, and what I know is that I'm certain you also have some scars and some hard seasons, and sometimes you wanted to quit, sometimes you were overwhelmed. So everybody listening to this, if they take the courageous leap of launching a channel, launching a business, trying something new, stretching beyond the comfortable, there's a lot of fear, there's a lot of discouragement that can come. What comes to mind maybe of just a few thoughts for the listener that maybe is going through a hard time and maybe feeling like quitting or just feeling a little discouraged? What comes to mind when you think about speaking a few words into that individual?
You just can't quit. If you really want to be an entrepreneur because you want, and I find that most entrepreneurs, if you're like me, you want to be an entrepreneur because you want freedom. I left my job at NASA, even though it was very glamorous, working with astronauts, super cool stuff. But I left it because the hours were long and the pay was terrible. And I wanted to have more control and more freedom over my life. And that is, I think, what a lot of entrepreneurs have in common is freedom to decide, freedom to determine, and freedom to choose your own path and determine your own worth, making sure that you're getting paid what you're worth and that your business isn't, that your work isn't driving you into the ground with the hours. But the secret to my success has only been consistency over time. I just have not quit. And I had one business model that shut down, not from anything that I did on my own, but just because I had a really terrible health problem. I had 4 organs removed and 3 surgeries in 2 years. And it brought me to my knees, literally. I lost everything and I had to start over again. But I took the lessons that I learned up to that point and use them to fuel me to build a better business and to build a better life for myself. And it has, yes, Sean, there have been days, there have been moments, there still are. But the secret is to not quit, just to let those battles become the lessons and stay consistent over time because you can do it.
Oof. Jen, so grateful for you. Your story is powerful. And thank you so much for your encouragement today. Check out the show notes. You can follow Jen on Instagram as well at Jen DeVore Richter. And we'll have all of her links and everything else. Think Media Podcast, thank you so much for being here. Subscribe if you're not subscribed, like and share, leave feedback depending on where you're listening. And we cannot wait to connect with you in a future episode.